Welcome back to Invest Global. Today we're going over a Launchpad project that we haven't talked about yet on this channel. Now, we've talked about all things from PokerStarter to TrustSwap to DefiDrop, all these main Launchpad projects that are for individual ecosystems. They all kind of have their individual niche, and these are much more developed. So when you look at, okay, where's the opportunity to get in a lot of these private sales, a lot of these IDOs early? Well, that's an early stage Launchpad project, and that's why I think Defi Drop is a very interesting project when you look at it fundamentally, right? Especially, obviously, you should always do your own research with everything we talk about on the channel, all altcoin projects, any investment strategy, do your own research. Link for that video down below in the description. Analyzing fundamental, technical, sentimental, and on-chain analysis, always very, very important. But with DeFi Drop, it's very, very powerful because their specific niche is focusing on projects purely for decentralized finance, right? It doesn't matter whether it's Cardano, it doesn't matter whether it's Ethereum, none of these things matter, right? So they're kind of blockchain agnostic. They're looking for, okay, what are the projects in decentralized finance that are early stage, that are looking to raise capital, and they actually have a Launchpad project coming up. And we'll talk about that here in a second. But really just to break down my thesis around, obviously, Launchpads is you have, in more of the traditional markets, you have anyone can invest in the public companies, right? So you have a brokerage account. For example, I like to travel to different countries, opening the brokerage account that you can't get if you're just in the US, right? Like Iran, for example, the Iranian stock market, I think is very interesting at the moment. Companies trading at ridiculously low multiples, but in order to invest in those companies, you have to have a brokerage account, but that's just for public companies. Now, to gain access to private companies, at least in the legacy system with like stocks, you have to be an accredited investor, right? So there's an accredited investor rule. Now, for that, you have to have a net worth of over $1 million. And it doesn't matter whether or not you are more advanced in investing. It doesn't matter the actual knowledge you have with investing. Rather, you could be a trust fund kid, have $1 million net worth, and invest in private companies. Now, to me, that system is a bit archaic. It's a bit outdated, and that's where Launchpad comes in. And again, with a lot of these launch pads, there's still a high barrier to entry, right? Like we were just talking about CardStarter the other day, and just to get a 10% lottery allocation, so 1 in 10 chance of getting access to a new Launchpad project in CardStarter, which for the Cardano ecosystem, it's $2,500, so it's $2,500. And then you go up from there, and it's closer to $10,000 where you get guaranteed allocation, $20,000 where you get higher pool weight. But something like Defi Drop, a relatively new Launchpad project, there's so much opportunity, right? Again, like I said, do your own research, but identify these market trends, right? Like what's the narrative going on? This kind of narrative towards Launchpads is quite compelling because just like in the 2017 run, ICOs really popped up. But the problem with ICOs is there wasn't any responsibility, right? Like so many of these got so hyped up and they were really pump and dump. So that's something that you have to take in mind with Launchpad projects. But it really Launchpads fix this problem with ICOs. So instead of initial coin offerings, we call them IDOs. So it's initial DEX offerings, right? So basically you're getting in on these before they launch on the decentralized exchange. And Defi Drop is more focused on projects with anonymous teams, and it's focused on decentralization, right? Like think about the largest project in cryptocurrency has an anonymous team, an anonymous founder, Satoshi Nakamoto. So some people are thrown off by anonymous teams and anonymous founders, but at the end of the day, the beautiful thing about this space is you can verify what this project is doing. I mean, if you're looking at investing in this, you don't have to trust that, like for example, with the stock market, part of always analysis is looking at the CEO, right? You have to trust in the CEO a little bit. That's part of your analysis. And with blockchain, I don't think that should even be a part of it, right? I think those four main things I talked about with sentimentals, fundamentals, technicals, and on-chain analysis, those are really the key things to look at. And yes, if there's a group, there's a community around a project, that's incredible. Always great to see. But you shouldn't be thrown off by anonymous teams and anonymous founders. I know some people are. It depends on your risk tolerance, right? But this is just part of the space. It's part of a new industry, right? So right here, they describe themselves as a special launchpad and incubator for decentralized finance. Introduction. So with decentralized finance continuously on the rise, we are seeing constant new development and innovation attempts across the space. However, with all the existing launchpads already out there, not many of them tailored to specifically decentralized finance and anonymous teams. Defi Drop helps to streamline the process for new and existing teams looking to make an impact in the DeFi scene. Whitelist providing, sorry about the wind, exclusive secure opportunities for its community. So very interesting what they're doing as far as that. By the way, to stay up to date with a project like this, especially at an early stage, give them a follow on Twitter. That's always a good way to do it. And also their Medium articles. So we'll talk about this kind of like upcoming launch here, but at DeFi Drop LPad, so the actual launch pad for DeFi Drop, you can also give us a follow at InvestGlobal_IO. What they're doing is quite interesting. And still, like, you got to understand, like, this project literally joined Twitter April 2021, so that's how new this is to the ecosystem, right? But I mean, it's similar to if you were identifying PokerStarter, or you were identifying TrustSwap when it very first started. The barrier to entry was a lot lower, because a lot of these, there's obviously a minimum staking requirements. You have all these kind of minimums you have to meet, and the barrier to entry is relatively high, right? That's why I think, Binance Smart Chain Pad, where if you don't have, let's say, like, if you're not investing 5 figures in Launchpad projects, you're not staking at least, like, right, $10,000 to $20,000 in whatever token it is, like whether it's PokerStarter, whether it's Akamfi, whatever Launchpad project you're looking at. Well, that's kind of this high barrier to entry. Whereas DeFi Drop, since it's early stage, you don't have these same things, right? Like, obviously, yes, there's still minimums, but everything's very transparent, and that's what I like about it. So let's go over here to their light paper really quick. I did want to touch on their roadmap. So for Q2, their incubator launch. Q2 to Q3 is automation. Q3 is atomic swaps and across chains, and then Q4 is crypto venture capitalist launchpad. So that's quite interesting. I'm looking forward to the crypto VC launch. That should be very, very interesting. Let's go back here and continue on. Okay, so features: drop staking / liquidity providing staking programs, drop stakers governance for IDOs, token buybacks / token burns, periodic token buybacks and burns using IDO incubator fees, cross chain, and again, all these things that say IDOs or LP, liquidity providers is what LP is. IDOs are initial DEX offerings. Okay, so and fees. Drops holders and stakers, tiered model for private and public sale allocations. That's quite interesting, having a tiered model. Similar, again, like I yesterday recorded a video on CardStarter, like the top 3 upcoming launches for the Cardano ecosystem. And I mean the minimum, it's a higher barrier to entry, right? And even if you're staking like $2,500 at the current price of CardStarter, it's still that 10% allocation, right? So not that high chance that you actually even can participate in this, because they have like the lottery approach, which is what a lot of Launchpads have to have. And then we look at cross-chain token listings / atomic swaps. So Tokenomics, drops token will have a max supply of 100 million. Token distribution model can be seen below. All right, so this is very important to understand. And guys, it's always very, very important to go on, like, whether you're looking at a token on Ethereum, ETH Explorer, or Binance Smart Chain, BSC Explorer, whatever token you're looking at, go on the actual blockchain explorer and verify all these things. Like any project, and I'm not saying Defi Drops is doing this, but you have to make sure you're verifying these things for yourself. So looking at, okay, where is the token being held? Is the actual holders decentralized? And that's something that's very, very important. I always like to analyze it whenever I'm looking at investing in something. So that's part of doing your own research. So 6.15% or 6.15 million drops token is the listing liquidity on Binance Smart Chain. 26.35 million drops on cross-chain listing liquidity. 10%, 10 million drops on liquidity providing incentive program, blah, blah, blah. Partners and advisors, 5%, 5% on a marketing and reserve, 5% on affiliate program and exposure airdrops. Vesting schedule for private and public sales is first 4-month period, second 15% unlocked on release, third 25% unlocked after first month, and then fourth followed by 20% unlocks over 3 months. So this is the initial circulating market cap. This is still relatively low, but right, but that's the initial. So $675,000. So tiny micro cap, right? Okay. So also, I apologize for the background noise here in beautiful Tbilisi, Georgia, and there's a lot of new buildings being built, so that you always have these kind of construction workers going on. So, anyways, you can see the advisors there, the FAQ. Contacts, all these different things. So again, let me know at this point in the video if you have any questions. Leave them down below in the comments. Join us in the Telegram group. Follow Defi Drops on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. If you have any questions about any of these things, either the Defi Drop team, which, by the way, this is sponsored by DeFi Boost. This whole Defi Drop project. If you have any questions, they're either happy to help or I can help reach out. So join the Telegram group, join the Twitter. All these different things, very, very important to kind of stay ahead of. On their light paper, we already talked about this. I do want to touch on this, and then we'll wrap things up. Okay, so this is their Medium article, which is another good way to stay up to date onto what these next projects are launching. And Simlancer is actually quite interesting. I met with someone here in Tbilisi, Georgia, who's working on a project called Desert Finance, and he's launching it on Binance Smart Chain. But it's focused similar thing where it's freelancers, but specifically for the country of Georgia in the blockchain space. So I think it's quite interesting. Also, he's trying to build like an NFT platform, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but hey, to each their own, right? I just think that the NFT platform space is a bit overdone. It's a bit overcrowded, but let's see. So so KYC, so like know your customer. There's no know your customer with this freelance platform. This is a DeFi powered and self-governing decentralized autonomous organization. It's decentralized, offers both business to business and peer to peer. Discounted fees using SIM and any other form of payments. That's the actual native token. Cross-chain on Cardano, Ethereum, Nano, development over time. Both employers and employees tiered system model. SIM stakers gain benefits across the platform whilst generally sharing a platform fee revenue. So this is actually something that I've been looking for is freelancers to work on some of the things that I already do in the blockchain space. I work with some consulting things in this space with decentralized finance, staking in these different kind of passive income streams, and freelancers are kind of few and far between. So when I identify something like this, like almost like the Upwork or the Fiverr of the blockchain space in DeFi specifically, I get kind of interested, right? So I'm not the biggest fan of the logo. I'll just be 100% transparent on that. I'm not the biggest fan of this logo, but hey, some of these things blow up. The logo really doesn't matter at the end of the day. I'm just not the biggest fan. So the pre-sale is on the 21st of June. Countdown timer is right here. So again, I'll have everything we talked about linked down below in the description. Final snapshot for whitelist allocations on the 19th of June on 19 UTC. So where this is going to be on the Defi Drops website /projects. Make sure you're on the official site. That's the most important thing. But yeah, that's basically all for this video. Let me know in the comments what you think about Defi Drop. Whether it's good, whether it's bad. The project should be open to criticism. I think that's the main thing is, I always talk about this is like thesis, antithesis, synthesis. So seek out disconfirming evidence. So anything that really is looking to grow should always seek out disconfirming evidence and iterate and improve, right? So I think that's the opportunity where a project like this can navigate, can build better. But I think what they're doing is very, very interesting. Launchpads as a whole, very, very interesting. But as always, guys, always do your own research, not financial advice. That's all for this video. Go watch the recommended videos down below in the description. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date. Hit the notification bell so you never miss out on a new video. That's all for this one. Again, invest global. And until next time.